Cap? Thanks for joining the stream. You there? Oh, okay. Hey, that sounds like you got a good family there. What kind of breed is your dog? Labrador boxer. Okay. Yeah, boxers are good breeds. They're very affectionate for the most part, and they're decently easy to train. What breed is your cat? Labrador boxers make good companions. How's his temperament? That's good. Some cats aren't really needy. They're like, oh yeah, you pet them on the head once or twice, and then they'll just go. And then they'll just stay out the way. They don't really come back. But yeah, needy cats are pretty good because at least they show affection more often. Does it like to need your head every now and then? Or did it used to need you put its paws into you and its claws? Yeah, marking the territory, especially males. Males tend to do that. Yeah, that's marking your territory. That's marking the territory. Yeah, when they need into you, into your body like that, yeah, that's marking their territory. Yeah, males have a tendency to doing that. It's an ownership thing, like you're my human. Well, it's a nice warm spot. Not so much an expert, but I know a lot about cats. I've raised quite a few, about 6 or 7. But the thing about it, and I've had different breeds: Siamese, Calicos, Tabbies, Brown Winchesters. It's a warm spot. Like really and truthfully, that's a really warm spot. So your crotch, your butt, and your armpits generate massive amounts of heat on the human body, and so cats just like to be in nice warm spots because it reminds them of when they were nursing or little. So it's a comforting thing, especially if they sleep on your chest. If they sleep on your chest, especially near your heart, they like the rhythm and they like the comfort of that your heartbeat gives off. So there's several different things, places they go. So sometimes like my cat Spy, when she was about 2, from the age of like 2 days old when I got her, to about 2 years of age, well, 2 human years, she would always sleep near the back of my butt, and I always wondered that. And then I started researching. I was like, oh, it's a warm spot. It's a safe zone. Like, so anywhere really warm on you, that's really next to you, yeah, it's really a safe zone. Yeah, essentially, yeah. So especially if they're always on you. Like if you have multiple family members in the house, right? And the cat always goes to you, or when you call, it'll come to you, after you train her or him, like that means that they see you as like the primary caregiver or a care figure. And it's like, you're my human, you're my property. And a lot of times, well, yeah, especially your head. Okay, so that's definitely like a territorial thing. Like when they lay on your head, anywhere near your mouth, or like near your shoulders, like that's definitely like your territory. Like that you're my territory, and like I feel safe with you. And if you notice too, cats will often find tight little areas to be in as far as a safety zone too. Well, yeah, because if they weren't really, were they raised together? Before I say that, were they raised together? Because usually, depending on the temperament of the cat, so they're siblings. Do they get along, or do they bite each other and hiss at each other? Okay. Okay. So, well then, they just like being in separate areas, and because my godmom, she had like twins. They were like born pretty much like right back to back, and the boy would always be like anywhere the sister would go, like the boy wouldn't go. But then like the sister would like to follow him around, and he would always walk away from her. So it depends on the temperament of the cat. Or the personality, because cats, as far as attitudes go, are more like humans than dogs. And the reason I can say that is because they're super moody, super intelligent, and they can understand, like they cop attitudes. Like a dog, like from what I've observed after like raising 12 different dogs, like a dog, from what I've observed, they'll when they're lonely or something, like if you leave them in the house or something, they'll tear up your shoes or something to say, hey, human, you left me alone, like, or whatever, right? Cats like to like mark their territory everywhere, so they'll scratch up everything just because, but that's just them, either stretching out their claws or marking their territory or wanting something to do, right? Because they get bored or they get temperamental. But dogs, like, if they have anxiety, they'll like poop and piss in like the weirdest spots. Cats, when they're really angry or they're pissed with you, they'll like urinate in your they'll urinate in different areas outside the litter box. They'll be like, hey, if the litter box needs to be changed, or if they're not trained to go in and outside when they need to use the restroom, like they'll be like, hey, like I'm gonna piss outside the litter box because that shit's too dirty for me to use. Like that's how, like, or they'll be like, if there's a certain food, like if you're giving them certain food, they'll turn their nose up at it and knock it over. Like cats will, like they show like their attitudes, like really, it's usually you can tell what's going on with a cat. Okay, a rash. Now, say when the dog goes upstairs, one of them gets very ill. Like last time I had this feeling, a fight was this close to breaking out by him. Oh, I get what you're saying. So you're saying like sometimes your two dogs will go in the same area and they'll kind of like growl at each other, and that means that they're like, either one of the dogs is really territorial, or one of the dogs is like really doesn't like the other dog. It depends on when that happens. When you can sense that. If I think I'm understanding what you're saying. That'll happen sometimes. Like if you're talking about the dogs, if you're talking about dogs and cats, like that'll happen from what I've observed. When a cat's being territorial or something, or a cat doesn't want to be bothered, and then the dog will start messing with it, like either sniffing it or batting it around or something. And usually the cat will get to a point where it gets when it's had enough, it'll like, yeah, you know, like F you, you know. Okay, so my daily just restarted. So what time is it? Oh, it's 2 o'clock here, yeah. Okay, so that's when daily restarted. That's why, okay. They get really moody, like sometimes, or when they're in heat. Oh boy, when they're in heat, yeah. Ugh. But most times though, like if you spay the cat or male cats, they kind of chill out. They don't mark the territory as much. But if you want, you know, kittens or what have you, like you got to deal with both the females and the males, like being in heat. It's crazy, man, when that happens, because it's like you gotta separate them at the time sometimes, and like, man, it's just it's a headache. But you get used to it if you're trying to breed them. But it also depends though. Like, I've had like 4 females out of the 6 to 7. I say 6 to 7 because one passed away before they were like 2. So I don't really consider that raising, completely raising. The oldest cat I've raised was Spy. I don't consider it as a loss. I consider it as a celebration of life, especially when they died of old age. You know, like I didn't put her down. Like, and she wasn't a huge cat. Like, she wasn't like she started getting arthritis, but she was good. She would jump up on things. But then one day, like I woke up and she had passed, and it wasn't like I was angry. I was a little sad, but I was like, well, at least she lived a long life, because when Spy died, she was 15. So I was like, I looked at it as a celebration of life. Like, I have a different outlook on death. Like, it's a little bit different than most people. Most people grieve and they go through a grieving process and acceptance and anger and resentment and all that. Me, when the death happens, humans or animals, I'm like, well, I'm glad they lived as long as they did. Now, the deaths that bothered me was when my little cousin passed at 2. Because he like an accident. Accidents bother me, right? Because he died at 2. Like, my cousin was watching him, and he was going up the stairs like he normally does. He climbs the stairs. He was climbing the stairs, and he lost his footing. And before my cousin could get over there, like, he had slipped and fallen, and like broke his neck. So it's like, that shit bothers me, because that's like, you know, yeah, that shit bothers me, because it's not really so much a celebration of life, but it's so much like you were taking so long, you were taking so quick, and that I get a little depressed about, like accidents. But then I look at it like this: well, it's like maybe they were saved from some other tragedy that may have happened, worse tragedy, right? Shit like that. Well, hell yeah, it's hard at the start. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying like it's not hard. I'm just saying when it comes to animals and humans that have lived quite a while, I look at it as a celebration of life, right? Anything that's been taken out, and when humans or animals are stillborn, I look at it as, well, it probably protected them from suffering, right? Especially if they came to term, right? No, it's not. Man, like I don't. People think bad of me, but I don't go to many family funerals. I've only gone to the people that are really, really high up there, like. And the reason for that is because it allows me not to. It allows me, if I really knew them, it allows me to go on my own terms. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like being forced to say goodbye to people. Does that make sense? So, like, I'll usually go like a day or two after the funeral to the gravesite, because most of my family members, when they were buried, they were either cremated or they were buried in huge swamps of groups, right? And yeah, you get to see all these people at the funeral, but then you also get angry because you're like, what the fuck? You weren't in their lives. Like you weren't in their lives like before, like all this time, but now you want to go boo-hooing and crying when you weren't even there. So it prevents me from becoming angry at people that say that they miss them or whatever, but it's it doesn't. So I usually go like a day or two after the funeral to go to the gravesite, say my goodbyes, and like that. Really, I didn't know that. No, for me, going to the tombstone is easy, and the reason it's easy is because it's like, man, like your spirit's gone to wherever you like. Because I have like a lot of different family members that are in different religions, so I'm like, whatever place you've gone to do your religious beliefs is cool, but your body's just here. So your body's gonna decay, but your spirit's going on, and that's the way I look at it. So for the family members that are like Christians, I'm like, well, they probably went to heaven or they probably went to hell. And for the family members that are like Muslim and like or like Jewish, like it's like I'm like, wherever you go in peace, I hope you go in peace, like especially if they lived a decent life. So it's like, yeah, but for me going to the tombstone is lethargic, right? Because it's a way to let go. It's like, man, you're really gone. Hey, I hope so too, man. I hope so too. Oh, hang on. I need 6. Got 33. Wait, what? I have 500 prime? Alright. But I still need like 67, 60. weapon mod. Probably start upgrading my gear now. So I'll put it like this. I'm glad there's something. Yeah. That's how I feel. That's why I look at it as a separate celebration of life. It's like, okay, you lived, you were awesome, or you had good times and bad times, but you lived through it. Okay, well, hey, whatever suffering you're going through is over with now. So, rest easy. And that's the way I look at it. Opening an old wound. I don't see it like that. Don't get it twisted. I don't visit the gravesite all the time. But when I do go, it's like, like especially with my grandfather, when I was able to drive myself to and from, I would visit. I would visit him like once or twice a year, and because I don't feel like my grandfather lived a long life. I think he died when he was 87, so that's damn near 90 years. So it's like, so when I have people like that go, like my grandmother, my grandfather. Like, I visit my grandfather because he was pretty influential in my life, like showing me like what a real man's supposed to be and how he's supposed to operate, provide for his family. He taught me how to like plant crops and shit like that. So like, he was really influential. So I visit him. Yeah, peaceful passings are great. Yeah, because that way, that they didn't suffer. But I've also seen the other side on how people pass, not so peaceful, let's just say. So and in those aspects, when you grow up in different weird environments, and I'm talking about weird like hostile or gang ridden or violent environments, like I did when I was in California. You see a lot of death. So it's not that you become desensitized to it, but you kind of learn how to move and operate within the realms of that, Yeah, my papa, he was Yeah, that's come from acceptance. That comes from acceptance. Like you just let go, like with everything. Hold on, Cap. I'm a switch games. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll be back on stream. I'm setting up my Uncharted 4 stream. So, because I'm done with Counterside, I can't do much in it right now. So yeah, I've done all I can do for day to this. But I'm gonna set up my Uncharted stream, and just join back in, and I'll continue talking with you. Okay.